Every presentation you make is an opportunity to create a positive or negative impression. And while the verbal language you use, as well as your tone of voice, can signal to the audience how to feel and think about you, no element of communication is more powerful and influential than your body language. First of all, let's define body language. It's the message you send without speaking, transmitted simply by the way your body moves in space. For example, if I think your idea is a bad one and will never work, I don't actually have to say so. I can just shake my head from side to side, meaning no, frown, and cross my arms. No matter what language you speak, you're going to get my point. As a presenter, you want to be aware of your own cultural norms around nonverbal communication, as well as the cultural norms and expectations of the audience to whom you're presenting. In her article, How Historical Migration Patterns Shape Emotional Expression, researcher Adrienne Wood shares that in countries where immigration rates were historically high, people are more likely to find common language in facial expressions and body language in order to compensate for a lack of common norms and language. Based on her research, you can expect Americans, Canadians, and Australians to be the most emotionally expressive, all English-speaking countries, and Chinese, Japanese, North Africans, and Scandinavians to be less emotionally expressive. It's really helpful to think about your own preferences and norms and then have a plan for adapting to those of the audience. When it comes to making a presentation to an English-speaking audience, the following 5 techniques can help you get your point across dynamically, persuasively, and in an appropriately expressive manner. Number 1, be sure to make deliberate eye contact with all the members of your audience. But let's take a moment to talk about deliberate. You don't want to stare anybody down, and you also don't want to have your eye contact flitting all over the place like there's a fly loose. You want to make eye contact for about 3 to 5 seconds with as many people as you can get to. The goal is to bring people into your presentation. Number 2, move out from behind the podium whenever possible. The podium serves as a visual barrier and a rapport-building barrier between you and the audience. You want to get out and use all of the space available to you. Now, of course, you might feel more comfortable and protected behind the podium, but you're not going to have the kind of impact that you want to really make a powerful presentation. Number 3, learn to gesture effectively. You want to make sure that more often than not, your palms are showing to the audience. Gestures that have open palms demonstrate connection, empathy, and trust. Gestures that wave an angry finger or are fists make you look angry, and that's not what any speaker wants to look like to their audience. Number 4, use facial expressions. Think about smiling. One thing to keep in mind is you want to present to your audience a face where you are honored and happy to be there. You definitely want to smile, but you also want to make sure that your smile matches the tone of your presentation. North Americans in particular are often accused of smiling too much, and it confuses people from other cultures. So smile, but smile appropriately for the message, the context, and the audience. Number 5, and this one might be surprising to you, invite your audience to move too. Your audience might have been sitting there for 20 minutes or for 4 hours. Invite your audience to move to another table. Sit with a different partner than the person that they have been sitting with. Ask them to get up and take a stretch break. The more you move and invite your audience to move, the higher the level of energy in the presentation and the more opportunities you will have to really make a persuasive connection.